Dubey sir, you can start videos.
Okay. So good evening, friends. Today we are going to watch a video where Krishni is having a conversation with Dr. David Bohm and Mr. Schanberg, a psychologist. It's a little longish video, but I'll just share the screen and then we can have a discussion around this video. So just give me a minute. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
So
We start very therefore. We were asking, why do human beings live?
What is the root?
The turmoil, the confusion, the sorrow behind it all, conflict, violence, and so many people offering different ways of solving the problems. The Asiatic gurus and the priests all over the world, and the new books, everybody offering a new solution, a new method, a new way of solving the problems. And I'm sure this has been going on for a million years. Do this and you'll be all right. Do that, you'll be all right. But nothing seems to have succeeded to make man live in order, happily, intelligently, without any of these chaotic activities going on. Right? Why? Why can't human beings, so-called educated, knowing all the scientific knowledge, biology, sociology, everything as now is open to every human being. Why do we human beings live in this appalling misery? Some of them are conscious, some of them are unconscious. Some of them say, well, this is all right, it's only for a few years and I'll die, it's a jolly good business, and doesn't matter. So why? What is this? Why?
Well, I've often said that they do it because it gives them the very sorrow, the very turmoil, the very problems themselves is the security.
That doesn't.
No, I don't really think so. I think people just get used to it. I mean, they miss anything they're used to, but that's, and other people get used to fighting and they miss it when they don't have it. But that isn't the primary reason, in my opinion, why they got started.
What's the primary reason?
Well, that's what we wanted to.
That's what we're
But I just
exploring.
feel that whatever happens, you'll get used to it and you come to miss it after a while, just because you're used to it. But that doesn't explain why it's there.
I was reading the other day, some writer saying, historically, 5,000 years, historically, there have been 5,000 wars. Thousands of people killed, millions killed, women crying. We follow the whole, and still we are going on.
That's right. I had the same experience. One time I was working and guy said to me that he wanted to go to Vietnam to fight because otherwise his life was every night at the bar.
I know, but that isn't the reason. Why?
No, that's not the reason, but there's something we hold on to the conflict and the sorrow.
Is it we like it?
No, it's not that we like it, it's we almost like not liking it. There's a kind of orientation, a kind of, I know my conflict, I know where I'm at.
No, have we all become neurotic?
Yes. The whole thing is neurotic.
Are you saying that?
Yeah. The whole society is neurotic.
Which means entire humanity is neurotic?
I think so. I mean, this is the argument we have all the time. Is the society sick? And then if you say the society's sick, what's your judgment? What's the value you're using for comparison?
Which is yourself who are neurotic.
Right.
So when you are faced with that human beings live this way and have accepted it for millennia. There have been saviors, there have been gurus, there have been teachers, there have been you follow? And yet they go on this way. And you say, well, we're all half crazy, demented, from top to bottom, corrupt. And I come along like us, come along, say, why?
Why do we do it?
Why?
Why do we keep it up?
Yeah.
Why are we crazy? Right. I have it, my children. I say to my children, this is a sick society. Look, they spend 50 hours a week in front of the television box. That's their whole life. My children, they laugh at me. All their friends are doing it.
You know, I'm moving beyond that.
Yeah.
Why?
Without it, what?
I know, no, not without it. Why?
That's what
first?
we run into.
Oh, well, no, that's merely secondary effect.
Secondary, yeah.
You see, I think that we get to depend on it, as we were saying this morning, to occupy us and so on. And Vietnam might seem some release from the boredom of the problem or whatever, but that's secondary.
And also, when I go to Vietnam or fight war, there is all responsibilities taken away from me. Somebody else is responsible, the general.
Right.
In the old days, people used to think that war would be a glorious thing. You see that when the war started in England, everybody was in a state of high elation.
Exactly.
They didn't know what was in store. You see.
And they're all united. So why? Is it that we have started out on the wrong path? Or is it the species don't kill themselves, the animal species, but we are the species that kill each other.
Right.
So looking at all this panorama of horror and misery, and I feel this very strong because when I travel all over the place, I see this extraordinary phenomenon in India, in America, here, everywhere. And I said, why do people live this way, accept these things, read history, and know, if only it is no longer conceived, they have become cynical. It's all there.
That's right. They have become cynical.
Well, nobody believes anything can be done about it. And that's one point.
Now, that's it. Is it no? We feel that we cannot do anything about it.
That's for sure.
That's been an old story. People say human nature is
can never be altered.
Yeah, I mean that's not new at all.
It's not new.
No, that's certainly true. That people feel, or we feel. I mean, let's not say people. We feel that, like I said this morning, that this is the way it is. This is the way we live.
I know, but why don't you change it?
Why don't we change it?
You see your son looking at the television for 50 hours. Right. You see your son going off to Vietnam, killed, maimed, blinded. For what?
Right.
Sorry. There have been pacifists, there have been women, hawks, done.
Look, I mean, many people have said we don't accept that human nature is this way. We will try to change it, and it didn't work. So many people did that. Right?
I know.
The communists tried it, the socialists tried it, some others tried it. I mean,
the utopians,
the utopians.
Right.
And, and there's been so much bad experience that all adds up to the idea that human nature doesn't change.
Okay.
You know, when Freud came along, Freud made his studies. He never set up psychoanalysis as to change people. He said, we can only study about people. It will never help.
I'm not interested. I know now. But I don't have to read Freud or Jung or you or anybody. It's there right in front of me.
Right. So now okay, so let's say we now that's a good, we know this.
Yeah.
We know this fact about people.
Yeah.
And we also know the fact of the matter is that they don't try to change.
So what is preventing?
Well, in fact,
That's the question. They don't, that's another fact.
people have tried to change it in many cases, but they
Okay, but now let's say that they don't try to
So
change
they go ashramas, they go
Right.
Yeah.
dozen ways they've tried to change.
Right.
But essentially they are the same.
see. I think people cannot find out how to change human nature. You see,
Is that it?
well, that's at least whatever methods have been tried are entirely.
Is that it, or is it the fact that the very nature of the way they want to change it is part of the process
Well,
itself?
That's what we say.
No,
Well, no, but I'm saying that both, and I say the first point is that whatever people have tried has not been guided by an understanding, the correct understanding of human nature.
So it's guided by this very process itself,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
incorrectness.
Yeah, see,
Not the
let's
mechanism.
take the Marxists who say that human nature can be improved, but only when the whole economic and political structure has altered. But then
They try to alter the human
they
nature.
can't
It's the
alter
same.
it, you see, because our human nature is such they can't really alter it.
They've
Because they're
got
using
class
them-
society. They started off no wars,
But they're using a
state
mechanical
disappearing.
way to make a mechanical change.
No,
I mean,
no,
mechanical
no.
change
I
to make a
look
mechanical.
at it. So you take yourself.
Right.
Sorry, the person, if I don't
Go
mind,
ahead. Yeah.
you be the victim.
I'll be big in the middle.
Why don't you choose?
Well, I
And don't give explanations.
well, the feel of it is that the immediate feel of it is that there is still there is that I guess I'd have to say there's some sort of false security or false the fragmentation, the immediate pleasures that are gotten from the fragmentation. In other words, there's still that movement of fragmentation. That's how come there's not the change. There's not seeing the whole thing.
I mean, do you want, when you say that, are you saying a political action, religious action, social action, all separate, all fighting each other almost, and we are that?
Right. Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm saying that. I mean, then that we keep getting something back from we get these immediate pleasures and failures, frustrations from these.
So there's much deeper issue
Yeah,
than
there's
that.
more. And my immediate response is, why don't I change? What is it that keeps me from seeing the total? I don't know. I keep coming up with a kind of feeling that I'm getting something. I keep getting something from not changing.
No. Is it the entity that wishes to change sets the pattern of change,
Right.
and therefore the pattern is always the same and a different color? I don't know if I'm making it clear.
Can you say it another way? Yeah.
I want to change, and I plan out what to change, how to bring about this change.
Right.
The planner is always the same,
That's right.
but the patterns change.
That's right. Yeah. I have an image of what I want.
No, patterns change. But I, who want to change, create the patterns of change.
That's right.
Therefore, I am the old, and the patterns are new, but the old is always conquering the new.
Right.
But of course, when I do that, I don't feel that I'm the old. See, I feel that I'm the new. I mean, it's
Yeah, I've got a new idea of how.
yeah, but I say I really don't feel that I am involved in that old stuff that I want to change.
Just now,
Yeah.
after lunch, you were saying Kabbalah.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah.
You say if you study this, you will be transformed.
That's right.
This has been said 100 million times. Do this and you'll transform.
Yeah.
They try to do it, but the censor is always the same.
Yeah, but each person who does it feels that it's
yeah.
never happened before.
My experience through that book is entirely, but the experience is
still same old thing, right?
I think that is one of the causes of it.
Well, it's a kind of sleight of hand trick whereby the thing which is causing the trouble is sort of put into position as if it were the thing that we're trying to make the change. You see, it's a deception.
I'm deceiving myself all the time by saying I'm going to change that, become that. Then if it doesn't suit them, so on. Is that it?
Well, that begins to get at it. I mean,
look at yourself and say, is that it? You read Hindu, wait a minute, Hindu, some book.
Right.
You say, yeah, true that. I'm going to live according. But the me that's going to live according, that's the same old me.
Right. That's right. Well, we have this, we run into this in, let's say, I think that all systems, for instance, of therapy with patients, for instance, the patient will say the doctor is going to be the one to help it.
Yes.
Right. And then when they see that doctor is like you or is not going to help you, then there's this, they're supposed to get better. They're supposed to be well. But in fact, they've never touched that central issue, which is that I thought that somebody could help me. So then they go to something else, and
Of course,
most of them go to another theory.
Another guru,
another type of thing, whether it's a mind guru or.
This afternoon there was a man there too here, talking about a new guru. You follow an old guru. But it's all same old stuff.
You're really getting at the issue, the fact that the root is this belief that something can help you.
No. The root remains the same, right? And we trim the branches.
See, I think the root is something we don't see because we put it in the position of the one who is supposed to be seeing. You see,
say that another way.
We don't see the root. It's a sort of a conjuring trick. You see, we don't see the root because the root is put into the position of somebody who would be looking for the root. You see, I don't know if you see it.
Yes,
that comes
the
out
root says, "I'm looking for the root."
Right.
You see, it's like the man who says, "I'm looking for my glasses," and he's got them on.
Well, like that Sufi story. You know the Sufi story. I'm looking for the key, and you know the word about that. I'm looking for the key over here because it's more lot. You know the story. But the Sufi, the guy comes along and he's the guy's crawling around under the light post, see? And he's looking for. The guy comes along and says, "What are you doing there?" He says, "I'm looking for my key." He said, "Was you lose it here?" He says, "No, I lost it over there, but there's more light over here."
Yeah, well, we throw the light on the on the other part.
Yes, sir.
But
so if I want to change, because I don't want to live that. I don't want to follow anybody because they're all like the rest of the gang. I don't accept any authority,
Yeah.
Authority arises only when I'm confused.
Right.
When I'm in disorder.
That's right.
So I said, can I completely change at the very root?
Well, now you see, let's look at that because you're saying I. There seems confusion in the language because I say I.
Confusion of language, I know.
I mean, which makes it hard because you say I'm going to change. I am. It's not clear what I mean by I.
The I is the root.
The I is the root. So how can I change?
That's the whole point.
You see, the language is confusing because you say I've got to change at the root. You see, but I am the root. So what's going to happen?
So what's going to happen? Yeah.
No, How am I not to be I?
That's the
Well,
question.
not, well, that, that's what you mean by that.
Yeah.
How am I not to be I? But let's roll it back a minute, a second. You state you're not going to accept any authority.
What? Who is my authority? Who? They have all told me, do this, do that, do the other. Read this book, you will change. Follow this system, you will change. Identify yourself with God, you will change. But I remain exactly as I was before. In sorrow, in misery, in confusion, looking for help. And I choose the help which suits me most.
Can we stop here for a minute? What would you say about that? Now, I mentioned something about psychiatry here, and I'd like to get something straight if we can. There is this whole theory, and gurus have it. They don't talk about it, but they have it. And then there is in all of psychiatry and psychiatry. That is the theory that if I go along with the authority to where I see my addiction to authority, then I'll free myself from the authority. You know that.
Yes, or rather, communists say freedom comes at the end of good discipline.
Right.
And the discipline is what I tell you.
Right.
Yes, at the end
Now,
of the
why do you think that does?
dictatorship of the
You mean that?
proletariat.
Right. In other words, by giving myself over, I will discover my error. Now, what do you want to say about that? Huh?
Isn't that obvious? I mean, that
Right. It's obvious. I mean, that I'm doing the same thing, and then I see the failure of this authority, but you see there is a thesis there that if I see the particular of my following authority, then I will see the universal in the root.
yeah, but why do you have to follow the authority to see authority? See, that this is one of the questions. You see, do you have to deceive yourself in order to understand self-deception?
Yes, sir.
But
so, is it possible for a human being to change at the very root of his being? They have tried different ways, different Zen. You follow 10 different, umpteen different ways they have tried to change that. Rewarding him, punishing him, promising him. Nothing had changed. Brought about this miraculous change. And it is a miraculous.
It would be, yes.
It is. Everybody promises, do this, do that, do the other. And a man like we come along and say, look, I don't want to accept any of her. Because you have misguided everybody, all the authority.
Authority
in itself is disorder.
Right.
Authority exists because human beings are in disorder. The disorder is created there. Not clarity, not compassion, not something entirely different. It's the disorder is created. So why should I follow? Though they promise, do this, discipline yourself according to this way, ultimately you'll be free. I reject all that. Not intelligently, because I see it isn't a cantankerous rejection. It's a reasonable, sane rejection. So how do I proceed? I've got 50 years to live. I don't know about the future, maybe I'll find out. But I've got 50 years to live properly. What is the correct action?
What is the correct action to live properly?
That's all. That's all. To be sane,
Saying.
not to be neurotic. Who's going to tell me? The communists? Marx? Lenin? Mao? The Pope? or the local police? Who's going to tell you? Because they don't act rightly either.
We have a whole group of people who don't say that they'll tell you. We have a whole group of people who say, see how you follow me, and see if you follow me, see your tendency to follow me,
Yes, yes.
and then
Understand
the business of
to see
self-deception,
through that. In
to
other
see
words,
through your own self-deception.
but I mean, that's really an impossible trick, you see, because if you say, follow me and deceive yourself, then you must genuinely deceive yourself,
Right.
and you can't see.
That's right, but the thesis is that if you deceive yourself, you will see your own tendency to self-deception,
that's-
which you don't see.
But that must be authority, because I mean, it doesn't make sense to say that if I deceive myself, I'm going to see through deceiving myself. I mean, the whole point of self-deception is that if I'm really doing it right, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Therefore, how do you guarantee to me that I can see through self-deception by deceiving myself? See,
Well,
it's
because I'm going to
contradiction.
show you through your I'm not going to participate. I'm going to be here, and you're going to deceive yourself, and then you're going to see this authority action the way you need authority.
You're talking about
What?
group therapy.
I'm talking about the kind of psychotherapy, right?
But why do I need that? You see, why do I need to go through all that to see self-deception? I see, it's not clear.
No, it's not. But that's the only way. In other words, you're so desperately in need.
Yeah.
You need me desperately.
I don't need you.
No, but he does.
That is fundamentally wrong.
I'm accepting authority, right?
Yeah, you're fundamental. That's right. But he is fundamentally wrong.
So
here he is. He's fundamentally
So
wrong.
tell him that.
You're fundamentally wrong. That
That-
he doesn't hear me.
No, don't ask him, don't allow him to appeal to you.
You mean don't play along in this
Say,
absurdity.
I can't help you
I can't help you.
because I'm like you.
I'll take my trade elsewhere.
You have to go somewhere else.
So if everybody said, I can't help you,
Yeah.
you have to do it yourself, look at yourself, then the whole thing is beginning to act.
Right. But the whole thing is doesn't work like that. There are a lot of people who will be willing to deceive him
So
for a few dollars.
We know they're all neurotic.
Right.
Here is a man who says, I'm neurotic. I won't go to any other neurotic
Right.
to become sane.
Mhm.
I know. So what does he do? He doesn't accept any of it. Because I have created out of my disorder the authority.
Yeah, so that's maybe the hope that somebody knows what
Yeah,
to do.
yeah.
You see, I feel that this chaos is too much for me, and I just assume that somebody else can tell me what to do. But that comes out of this confusion. In other words,
Yes.
That's
the
just what he
disorder
said.
creates the authority.
the authority. It
Like
creates,
in the school, I've been saying, if you behave properly, there is no authority. The behavior we have all agreed with.
Mhm.
Punctuality, cleanliness, this or that. If you really see it, you know authority.
Yes, I see that. I mean that I think is a key point. That the disorder itself creates the need for authority.
So look what's happened in India. Mussolini is a perfect
Yeah.
example.
well,
Trains run badly.
well, it doesn't actually create a need for authority. It creates among people the impression that they need authority to correct the disorder. You see,
Yeah,
it would be more
that's it.
exact to say
Right,
that.
right,
Because the authority they don't need at all, because it's just destructive.
right.
So let's start from that.
Yeah.
I reject all this.
Mm.
Being
Right.
not insane. In the rejection of authority, I have become very safe. I'm beginning to become safe.
Right. Right.
So I said, no, I know I'm neurotic. A human being says, I know. Now, what shall I? What is the correct action in my life?
Mhm.
Can I ever find being neurotic?
Mm.
I can't. So I won't ask what's the right action. I say, now, can I free my mind, the mind, from being neurotic? Is it possible? I won't go to Jerusalem. I won't go to Rome. I won't go to any Park Avenue doctor. No.
Right.
So because I'm very serious. I'm deadly serious because that's my life.
Right.
But then you're saying you have to be so serious, and you say that in spite of the immense pressure to escape,
And
you won't. But I'm saying that what one will feel at this juncture will probably be an intense pressure toward escape. You see, you're saying this is too much.
no, sir. You
Right.
think what happens when
Actually,
I
that's not what happened.
Why?
what happens when I reject authority? I have much more energy
Yes.
Tremendous.
If you
Yeah.
reject it.
because I've now concentrated to find out.
That's right. That is what happened.
I'm not looking to anybody.
That's right. I know. In other words, then I have to use then I have to really be rawly open to what is. That's all I've got.
So what shall I do?
When I'm rawly open to
No,
what
I'm
is.
not. Here I am. Here is a human being caught in all this. What shall we do? No authority. No social discipline is immoral. Right?
Mhm. Then it's in the intense alertness.
No,
to-
tell me you are a doctor. Tell me what I am to do. I reject you
Right.
because you're not my doctor.
Right.
You're not my authority.
Right.
You don't tell me what to do
That's right.
because you are confused.
Right.
So you have no right to tell me what to do.
Right.
So I come to you as a friend.
Right.
Say, let's fight
That's right.
because you are serious and I'm serious.
That's right.
Let's see how
We can work together. And
no, be careful. I'm not working together.
You're not going to work together.
No, we are together investigating.
Together investigate. Okay, but okay, we won't call it. We're investigating
know.
together.
No, working together means cooperation.
Right.
I'm not cooperating. I say you are like me. What am I
right.
to cooperate with?
Well, we're cooperatively. You don't want to cooperatively investigate.
No, because you are like me.
That's right.
Confused, miserable, unhappy, neurotic. So,
Right. Right.
So I said, well, why should we? How can we cooperate? We can only cooperate in neuroticism.
That's right. You mean we'll collude essentially
Yeah,
to deceive ourselves. So what are we going to do?
So can we investigate?
That's a very interesting question. Can we? How are we going to investigate together if we're both neurotic?
No. So I said, look, I'm going to first see in what ways I'm neurotic.
I see. Okay. All right. Let's look at it.
Let's look at it. In what way am I neurotic? A human being comes from New York or Tokyo or Delhi or Moscow. He says, I know I'm neurotic. Society is neurotic. The leaders are neurotic. And I am the world and the world is me. So I can't look to anyone. So what that gives you what it does?
Look at you straight up there in front.
Like gives you a tremendous sense of integrity.
Right. You got the ball in your hands now, run with it. Well,
Can I being a human being, can I look at my neuroticism? Is it possible to see my neuroticism? What is neurotic? What makes me neurotic? All these things that are put into me in the sense, the me that is collected all this, which makes the me. Can my consciousness empty all that?
your consciousness is that, though.
Of course.
Is it only that?
For the moment, I'm limiting it to that.
That is my consciousness.
Mhm.
That the proliferation of my fragmentation or my thought is my neuroticism. What am I going to do this? What am I going to get here? Where am I going to get this? Or what am I going to do there? Or how am I going to, I mean, this me is made out of the proliferation of these fragments. Isn't that right?
Yes, of course, but also this means tremendous question, you follow?
Oh,
Can the consciousness of man,
be
which
aware.
began 5-10 million years ago,
Mhm.
with all the things that have been put into it, generation after generation, generation after generation, from the beginning till now, you're asking all that is neurotical,
Mhm.
all that is a fragmented collection.
Mhm.
Can you take one at a time at those and look at it? Or can you take the whole of it and look?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Can you take the whole of it and look? That's not clear. How could we take the whole of it and look?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, I mean, there's a language problem there because you say, if you are that, how are you to look at it?
I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to.
No, but I meant that it is a difficulty of stating.
Stating it, I know. It's a verbal, the
Uh,
words are wrong. You see?
Right.
the words are wrong.
Because the words are made by this very system there.
Yes. So we shouldn't take these words too literally.
Too literal, of course.
Could we
Right.
say that the words can be used flexibly?
Right. Now that's a good.
No, the
Yeah.
word is not the same.
That's
That's
not the
right.
thing.
The word is not the thing, but the word points at it's something much bigger than itself.
No, word is not the same.
Right.
It may be the big thing or the little thing, but the word is not that.
Not that.
Yeah, but you see, we are using words, and the question is, how are we to understand them? You see that they are in some way a clue,
Impediment and
some way a clue to what we're talking about. But
Right.
it seems to me, you see, that one trouble with the words, the way we take them to mean something very fixed, like saying,
this chair.
this is exactly a chair. My consciousness is just so. You see, I am the neurosis, and therefore we take it very fixed. Now
It's moving.
it's
subtle,
moving, it's
much
moving and
more.
changing. Yes, and
Yes.
therefore you can't just exactly say I am the neurosis or I'm not the neurosis. Is that?
It's constantly in
Right.
flux.
But he's saying something bigger, which is the fact that the very thing that we're investigating is the way word is. I mean, the way we use words as the thing is the very movement that we're investigating.
Yes.
That is the consciousness.
That's it.
You see?
Would you repeat that once more?
Yes. That the very act of the word being seen as the thing by consciousness,
Yes.
that very movement
Mhm.
is the thing we must
course.
investigate.
Yes.
That is,
Now, can you look at it without the word? Is that possible? The word is not the same. The word is a thought.
mhm.
And I, as a human being, I realize I'm neurotic. Neurotic in the sense I believe. I live in conclusions, in memory, which are all neurotic processes.
In words.
In words. Words, pictures, and reality. I believe.
That's how you live.
I mean, my belief is very real. It may be elusive. All beliefs are elusive, but because I believe so strongly, they are real.
Right. They are very real. to you.
Very. So, can I look at that, the nature of the belief, how it arises? Look at it.
Look at how I'm living in the world in which I'm trapped by the belief in the word is the thing. Look at
Don't
that
expand
movement.
that. I understand. Just look
Look
at
at that.
You've got a belief, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Now, look at it. Can you look at it?
Mhm. Well, I mean, this morning we were talking about the fact that the belief is doctor, word, thing,
Don't expand it. Can you look at
Look
that,
at that.
at that fact that you have a belief? Whatever it is, God and the state is the most important, or whatever.
Right.
Marx is the newest God, or Marx, and so on.
But I believe it's true.
No, no. Can you look at that?
As a belief and not as a fact.
I know. It's a fact. It is a reality to you when you believe it. Go to a Catholic, a Hindu, or a
Right.
Marx.
Well, how am I going to look at it if I really believe in it? In other words, look, I say there is a God, right? Now you're telling me to look at my belief in the God.
Why do you do it? Who asked you? What is the necessity of God? Not that I'm asking.
I know it's there. God is there for me. If I
Then there is no investigation.
Right.
You have stopped. You have blocked yourself. You
Blocked.
have shut the door.
That's right. So how are we going to get?
You
Because
can't.
we've got such beliefs.
Yeah, ask him.
Wow.
You
How
have
are we going to
tried
get? How are we going to get it a
100
belief?
to show somebody who is a very strong belief.
Right.
He says, "What are you talking about? This is reality."
That's
Everybody
right.
has that.
Yes, well, that's the thing, that how our word becomes reality. Do you see? Can we
That's it.
investigate
How
that?
can we get at this? Because I think we have loads of these unconscious beliefs that we don't really shake, like the belief in the me.
Yes.
I mean, I think
No,
that
he's asking some other question.
Right. Well, how thought or the word becomes sense of reality. Do you see
Yeah.
that? That's,
Why words have become reality?
see, I think a deeper question is how the mind sets up the sense of reality. Do you see? I mean, if I look at things, I may think they are real, sometimes mistakenly, and that's an illusion. But when it comes to the word, and you know, even with objects, you can say a word and it seems real when you describe it that way. And therefore, in some way, the word sets up in the brain the construction of reality. And then everything is referred to that construction of
how am I
reality.
to investigate that?
What created the reality? Would you say everything that thought has created is real, except nature?
And then thought didn't create nature.
Yeah, of course not.
No, but I mean, can't we put it that thought can describe nature
Yes, thought can describe nature, for it, all the rest.
and also measurement?
The imagination, all the rest. Can we say thought, whatever it has put together, is reality? The chair, the table, all these electric lights. Nature it hasn't created, but it can describe it,
And also make theories about it.
make theories and all the rest of it. And also, it is the illusion it has created is a reality.
But isn't it, say, to a certain extent, this construction of reality has its place? Because, see, if I feel that the table is real, although the brain has constructed that, it's okay. Now, but at some stage, we construct realities that are not there. You see, we can see this sometimes in the shadows in the dark night, constructing realities that are not there. Yes, you see, and also all sorts of tricks and illusions are possible by conjurers and so on. And now, but then it goes further and say mentally we construct a psychological reality.
That's where it comes.
Which seems intensely real, very strong. But it seems to me the question is, what is it that thought does to give that sense of reality, to construct reality? Can we watch?
What does thought do? Bring about to create that reality?
Yes. I mean, like if you talk to someone who believes in God, they say to you that's real, that it's really there. It's not a construction. And if you talk to somebody who really believes in their self, I mean, I've talked to many people, and you have been talking to the psychotherapist. They say the self is real. that it exists. It's a thing. I mean, you heard a man once, he did a psychotherapy conference, he says to Krishnaji, that we know the ego exists. He says, we've got a theory, it exists.
Well, it's not only that, but see that I think people have felt its reality, and they refer. What happens is that the illusion builds up very fast. Once you construct the reality, all sorts of events are referred to it as if they were coming from that reality. You see, and it builds up a tremendous structure cloud around it of support.
Right. So how am I to investigate my reality making mechanism?
You have 5 minutes more.
No.
So let's come to it. What are we doing now?
We're moving. It's moving.
What are we doing? In this, we have said no authority. Nobody can say to another, this is the right thing to do. Because we are trying to find out what is the correct action in life. I can only find that out if there is no disorder in me. Right?
Right.
Me is the disorder.
Right. That's right.
However real that me is, that is the source of disorder. Because that separates, that divides me and you and we and they and my nation, my God, me.
Right.
Now we're asking how, with its consciousness,
Right.
can that consciousness be aware of itself? Aware, like thought, thinking
About itself.
about thought, can put it very simply, can thought be aware of its own movement?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the question. I mean, it's been called, it could be say a self-reference of thought to the thought understanding its own structure, its own movement. And
but is that thought that's aware of itself, or is
No,
it something else?
Try it.
Try that.
Do it now. 4 minutes you have.
Right.
Do it now. Whether you can be aware of your, not you, whether thought can be aware of itself, of its movement.
It stops.
What does it mean?
That's what it says. It stops. That it can't be. The sense of, well, the observation of thought stops.
No, I don't put it that way. It is undergoing a radical change.
yeah, so the word thought is not a fixed thing.
No.
The word
It
thought
does not mean a fixed thing.
Yes.
But it can change.
Right.
In perception.
I mean, you have told me, other scientists have told me, in the very observation through a microscope, the object undergoes a change.
In the quantum theory, the object is, cannot be fixed apart from the act of observation.
Well, this is true with patients. When in the psychoanalysis, when being with the patient, they change automatically.
I forget the patient. You are the patient.
I'm the patient. It changes.
No. What takes place when thought is aware of its own, of itself? Therefore, this is an extraordinarily important thing.
Yes.
That is, can the doer be aware of his doing? Can I move this vase from here to there? Can I be aware? Moving.
Yeah,
I can physically, that's very simple.
right.
I stretch out the arm and so on.
Yeah.
But is there an awareness of thought? It says, yes, I see what thought is aware of its movement, its activity, its structure, its nature, what it has created, what it has done in the world, the misery, all that.
Is there an awareness of the doing of the brain? Let me ask you something. Why do you think you can be aware of?
Hi.
I want to say that this my question.
Yes, Dinesh.
After Harshad sir.
Harshad sir has not raised his hand, has he? He has not raised his hand.
Okay. Shall I continue?
Yeah, please.
Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Today's topic is also again very interesting. Can I completely change at the root, very root? Now what JK in a nutshell tries to say that the entity which wishes to change sets the pattern of change, and therefore the pattern is always the same under different color. Means the very root which is trying to change remains there, and only superficially it changes the patterns, and that's why it doesn't help anybody. Second, what it says, when thoughts are put together, all thoughts put together is the reality of that person, and even the beliefs and all his beliefs etc are also covered in this. There may be some things which are match with the actuality, like technical memory and all that, but other process, other his beliefs etc are to be seen. So another word he has used very interestingly, neurotic, and he has strongly said that it is there is a which says that it is a negative. We feel that it is a negative remark he has given on the past memory and our old patterns and all that. So that is to be also seen whether really that it is that negative or not. He says what can be the right action or correct action. So he says you cannot take any correct action as long as you are neurotic. Means you are having all this old patterns and all your consciousness is old with all the memory content and all that. So this is what he has to say in this basically. He also says that if you observe your thoughts, its movement, then it undergoes a radical change. Also, he asks a question whether you can see it in a totality or you see it in a fragments. As far as I am concerned, in my case, I can see only in fragments. So definitely the time is involved. If one can see the totality, I think time may not be involved. That is a possibility. But from my point of view, now it's my views, it is very interesting in this dialogue that one moment when JK says to both, please do it, sir. Please observe the thought, your thoughts. Both tried and says, it stops. This is very interesting. Now, when you are alone and try to observe thoughts, then there will be number of thoughts, songs, etc. But when you are attentive, serious, and with a particular agenda, with a say a teacher, if not guru, and you try, then thought stops. Why? Means after you are with one particular subject for so much time. You are discussing, you are very serious, and then somebody says to you that observe your thought. Then the thought stops. Why? This is very interesting. The answer, I would also like to have the comments from the Harshad sir also on this. So my question is, who is actually governing the thoughts? In such case, thought stops. Means who is governing the thought? Which is that agency which is actually controlling the thoughts? This is my question is. Further, he says about the neuroticism, neurotic. So, see, this neurotic word is very interesting. Dictionary meaning says that it covers the tendency by which you get the depression, frustration, your conflicts and all that. So let us not discuss about what JK has said, but one interesting point is coming up. It is a trait or it is a tendency. So how to tackle that tendency? Because that tendency is you basically. I becomes me because of these tendencies. Me means all the collection of data and all that and words and whatever words we have given to actuality and all that. So I becomes me by collecting data based on these tendencies or traits. So how to tackle these traits? JK says just by simply observe or just see. Is it really possible? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Dinesh, I think since such points have been raised repeatedly, I may say this. Have you ever tried to just sit quietly and observe your thoughts? Observe means not saying that this is a good thought or bad thought. Without evaluation, just observe. Have you ever done that? I think if you do that, you'll get the answer. My saying or Krishnamurti's saying will not help. One has to just sit quietly and observe. That is very important. And see what happens to thought. See its movement. It's possible for any one of us, all of us, to do that. And you can ask your question a little later. Let's hear other people. Yeah. Think a little more and then we'll talk about it. Let's go to Harshad. Yeah. Yes, Harshad, please.
Is my voice coming all right?
Yes, yes. But can we see you?
Yeah, no, here the weather is very bad,
Oh,
and
okay.
internet connection is not very good,
Okay, okay.
and there is a lot of noise of the rain and the thunder coming.
Okay.
So I have not turned on my video. So if my voice is coming all right,
We are getting a very,
then I can
it's
speak.
not a very clear audio.
It's coming all right?
Speaking. It's not a very clear audio, but try to speak. We'll try and try our best to listen to you.
Says that if your voice is not coming properly, then please tell me to stop.
I think we'll wait for some more time so that the weather clears and then you can speak to us. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay. We'll go to Durga ji. Yes, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
Audible, sir? Audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, everybody, and good evening, sir. Yes, sir. There are very fundamental questions, fundamental points, Krishnji has raised in this video, as usual. And they always come out with different intensity, different passion. And, you really feel completely awestruck, spellbound by the video. Though the subjects look very common to us, and we have been hearing his videos and reading his text, but still, every time you listen to him, different kind of passion, different kind of energy levels, you feel, arising in you. Yes. And here Krishnaji is asking about the very few simple questions you can say. Can I, as a human being, live a very sane life? And he's not asking about and transformation doesn't mean that you completely go into some different kind of evolved state or something like that. He's asking you have to start from is the basic common proper life and sane life. And he says the lives we are leading are completely are neurotic lives. We are basically neurotic by nature. And even that Mr. Shanbag, he says, the whole society is neurotic. And one point that really came to my attention is, he says, why human beings are the only species that kill each other. In fact, when I was listening to this video, it really came as a realization to me. Yes, none of the other species in the universe, they kill each other. They kill only when they are hungry. They hunt, they kill, they eat, and afterwards they don't kill. Human beings are the only species who are, you see, look at the world now, every country is amassing, these nuclear weapons and, weapon mass destruction and all. It's like, some race is going on. How much of destruction is happening? We are the ones who kill ourselves and who cause so much of damage to the nature, the earth, the planet we have inherited. So that very act is so neurotic. He says, and why do we send the people to the war? Why do we glorify the war? So these are the very fundamental questions we need to ask ourselves. And those are really big revelations. And if we are living in a corrupt society, and we are living in a disorderly way, and what is the way out for that? What is the way out? We have to do something about it. And he says, don't accept any authority. There is no authority. There has been gurus, there have been so many isms that have been that originated in this world, but none of them could succeed. None of them could succeed in bringing this transformation in man. So the society goes the way it has been going. So he says there is no authority. So when you don't accept any authority, then what? Then you are the only one who has to sort out all these questions. You have to face all these questions and come to terms with them or try to find a way out of it. So that is a major responsibility. When you feel there's no authority absolutely in life, then what happens? He says you become more energized, you become more integrated. And first of all, the lives we are leading are completely full of neurosis, neurotic lives we lead, and the misery, the sorrow, the disorder, and all part of it. And authority is one thing he says very specifically, there is no authority. And then he slowly, he demolishes everything in us, and he brings both and then he says, whatever the thought has created. And he also brought the very specific fundamental difference. Nature is not created by thought. But at the same time, the furniture we see in the house, they're all created by thought. But and I think David Bohm clearly says, where thought has entered the psychological arena, there the root cause of disorder started happening. So he really brought a very fundamental question, point there. And he says, and Krishnaji says, if I want to keep all that away, and if I want to see why my the very process of me, the very process of the thought processes, which are leading to this chaotic life, this chaotic disorder in me, if I can start observing that thought, and he says there are only 4 minutes, you just try to do it. Try to see your own thought. What happens? And Mr. Shanbag says it stops. Then he says that is a fundamental transformation that happens. But just to sum up the video, so these are the very highlighted points he brought, and it's very meaningful, very sensible as usual, and it's a wonderful video, sir. I'll come back to the more points when other people join in, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think very rightly said, Durgaji, when you accept that no authority can help you, when you come to that stage, then the mind becomes very quiet. And in that quietness, you are able to see things. So that is very, very important. We'll go to Prasad Garu. Yes, sir. Question.
Sir, in this video, I think is a very important video because it is dealing with the question of fundamental change. That is change at the root, he calls it. So, I mean, he says we are all neurotic. Not only one or two of us, but the entire society is neurotic. Otherwise, there won't be so many wars. I think he has given the number of wars in the last 5,000 years or something like that. More than so. All these things, the misery in the society and all that, the sorrow and the conflicts and the wars and all these things, they indicate that we are all neurotic. Otherwise, there won't the societal condition will not be like that, like this. So then, what is neuroticism? Neuroticism is everything that has been put into you during the last, from the beginning, during the last 5,000 or 10,000 years or whatever. From the beginning, whatever has been put to you is neuroticism. So, one the interesting question is, what is put into you? Whatever thought has put into you is basically what is contributing to this neuroticism. Then one interesting question, I think the doctor says, I believe in God. Krishnaji says, what is the necessity of God? I think that's a very interesting observation. Why that belief? Because he says all beliefs are illusory. Not simply one belief, but all beliefs. Beliefs by themselves are illusory. And in this video, there is that definition of what is reality. Reality is whatever is created by thought, including tables, chairs, because they're all made by thought. Only nature is not made by thought. That's, he says that. Actually, there is a book also, Truth and Actuality, where actuality is nature. I think he defines it as nature. Actuality is nature, whatever is existing. Whatever is created by thought is reality. And truth is something different from both actuality and reality. So that is a book itself with the title. But then ultimately, and in this video, we also see how fastidious he is, how fastidious K is. Because he says, let us investigate together. Then the doctor says, can we cooperate in investigation? Krishnaji is very emphatic. He says, we are not cooperating. I am not cooperating with you because you are neurotic. Then what am I doing? We are just investigating together. So there I thought is very, very fastidious. He wants to be correct to the last syllable, something like that. Then no authority is, we don't want any authority. That is the basic premise. And then the doctor says, observe yourself means I observe my own fragmented collection. Because everything is fragmented in our brains. So that is fragmented collection. Then, but ultimately, what is the net gain through this video? What is the ultimate point made by this video? Ultimately, it comes to only how, reject all authority, not reject out of cantankerous rejection, but reject sanely, healthily, happily, and reject everything. Reject even God, because where is the necessity of God? And how do you know that what you believe is God? Because word is not the thing. So the word God is not God. That is all. Not that Krishnaji is an atheist or, not that he denies anything. He denies only your approach through words. Because we approach God only through whatever is created by our brains. That is through ritual, through belief, through songs, chants, everything made by God. So that God is rejected. Then ultimately, what are we left with in this video? That is my understanding is what is left is only given in the last 5 minutes. He says, observe your thought. Observe your thought. That is all. Can thought be aware of itself? That is the question. Aware of your thought? Can thought be aware of itself? That is the question. And then when the doctor says, thought stops. When I observe my thought, stop. When I observe my thought stops. Krishnaji doesn't agree, even at that stage. Again, that same fastidiousness. He says, no, it is not stopping, it is changing, it is transforming, it is changing. So that is the change at the root. The change is at the level of the self, at the level of the ego. All of us have that ego and the self and all that. And of course, they refer to some people who believed in self. The self is there as much as God is there. Then they didn't. Krishnaji, of course, doesn't believe in self. Self is only your construct. You think, the thinker is only a creation of thought. So that is that, sir. That is the ultimate. The last 5 minutes is the basic contribution of this video. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Harshad Bhai, are you able to speak to us now?
Are you able to hear?
Yes,
Are
yes.
you able to hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
This important question, whether thought can aware of itself. In that sentence, there is the word aware. And so it seems to me that since thought is the response of memory, it cannot see clearly itself. And my understanding is that thought and feeling are in the two-dimensional plane, and awareness is something outside the plane of thinking and feeling. So only when the mind is very silent and very observant, it can watch the movement of thought. And in that watching, thought goes in a very proper direction. It doesn't create any problems. So thinking can go on. In the light of awareness, thinking can go on without creating any problem. But when this awareness is not there, then many problems arise from thinking: anger, fear, jealousy, loneliness, conflict. All this arises because there is no awareness.
Yeah.
So in the light of our law, so that is one thing. And so in the same way, we also must not accept Krishnamurti as an authority and thinking that whatever he says is true. It's not like that. In the beginning, Krishnaji says that humanity has lived with, and there have been many gurus and prophets and saviors, and still the humanity has not changed. But there have been enlightened or disciples who were very, very intelligent and sensitive. They could free themselves, like Buddha and some disciples. They were free. So, but no prophet, savior, or teacher, or a guru can change the whole humanity. Humanity will go on with war and violence because most human beings are not interested in being quiet and observing their own mind. Generally, the mind is in the which is outside, reading books and watching films and entertainment, and that occupies the human mind. So only those who are very, very sensitive, intelligent, inward looking, if they can be alone and silent, there is a possibility.
I think there is some problem with
Of
the
the
audio,
awakening.
why it comes and goes, that kind of thing. It's intermittently leaving the audio and then comes back.
Of this awareness.
Harshad bhai, there is some problem with your audio.
Which
It
is
comes and goes, comes and goes.
Going out, thinking and feeling. So, okay, thank you. I have finished.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Yes, Dr. Verma.
Yes, sir. Audible, I am audible.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, few very important tips have been given in this video. We rarely look into ourselves, which is possible in silence only. And looking doesn't require words, which come out responding to some challenge perceived by our minds. Knowledge and experiences come out as words and invite words. You see, few questions he has given us today in this video. Why don't you question what appears real to you? Why don't you question what appears real to you? Why do you seek answers for your questions from someone else? This expression, can I completely change at the very root? Can a neurotic change at the very root? You see how this word was brought in and how this word itself took us away to so many things. Can a neurotic change at the very root, which probably means totally? Totally. It also indicates that there is a root. He just mentioned that root is asking for a change. Root is asking for a change in the root. You see, it also indicates that there is a root. Roots are known to be feeders. As a biologist, I know roots are known to be feeders that take energy from the surroundings and supply that to the growing sinks. There is a source and sink relationship, you see. Now, the question that came to me, what makes the root feel need for a change? What makes the root feel need for a change? Is it the self-awareness, as Dr. Harshad Bhai was telling? Is it the self-awareness about its conditioning? You see, then word is not the thing. So if we erase all the words, where we enter into a state of emptiness, then ultimately last 5 minutes he has devoted mostly to awareness. Awareness is a very interesting thing. Ultimately from consciousness, this thing ultimately to awareness. Awareness has to be, if it is real awareness, has to be choiceless awareness. The moment choices are there, that root is there, which he says, that self is there, everything is there. So awareness, a natural gift to all of us, which has been dominated by mind, is a wonderful gift of nature to us. So only in awareness you can see, the root can see whether something is required, what change he is talking about, total change. Unless until you see totality, where is the question of total change? So many questions, secondary questions come to you. So the main thing is, why don't you see, you should be aware of yourself moment to moment, and most of the questions I'm sure will be answered. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Durgaji.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it looks like there are not many other, who have raised the hands. I just want to sum up 2-3 points. Like our friends, they really brought out all the real content of today's video, and especially even Verma ji and Prasad sir. They really summed it up very well, sir. Like, the crux of this whole video is, apart from he demolishing, no authority, and no systems and no gurus. He demolishes all that. But in the end, the 5 minutes he has devoted to thought being aware of itself. And that's a very fundamental point, sir. Like, Prasad sir has brought it, and even Verma also has brought that. So being aware of one's own thought processes. And he says even the belief in God. And he says, I'm not an atheist, but investigate it. Investigate, and in the same way, whatever the beliefs, whatever the and he says, if you are neurotic, then first of all you sit and see in what is neuroticism, in what way you are neurotic. So when you start understanding from that point of view, from that level, then you understand what is neuroticism and what is sanity, and what does he mean by all these things. So I think these kind of a non-verbal understanding. And I think when we start observing without a word, the word is not the thing. In silence, I think our friends also have summed it up. The silence and non-verbal understanding, and investigating all those layers and layers of beliefs, and what are the facts we have collected throughout our lives. So he says that is the change. He's not saying change from A to Z or anything like. He's not mentioning anything else. Just observing those processes, investigating them, so that itself is changing. So I feel this is a very fundamental point. I need to bring it to the board, sir. So that's why I again raise my point. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. We have just 1 minute. Dr. Verma, would you like to finish it off in 1 minute? Yeah. Okay. Unmute yourself.
He talked about, why don't you see how neuroticism creeps in? So unless until I am clear about neuroticism, unless until I know the devil about it, how it enters, I will not know. You see, inadvertently so many things have entered me. You see, that's the whole conditioning is based on that. So unless until I'm clear about neuroticism, I can't see it creeping in me, the root. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have come to the end of the session now. And thank you all so much. Good night. Thank you.
There will be no meeting on Sunday.
Yeah. The next
Only
talk will be on 17th of September. Yeah.
Thanks to all parties.